Hey guys, today we are going to do a Forsaken tier list for all the characters and killers, and I'm going to be explaining why I think they are in one of these categories. So anyway, let's just get into it. Alright, starting off noob, I personally think he's mid, mainly because his Bloxicova, you can use it back to back for speed 1 for 10 seconds, but he only has like 2 of them, so and plus he's slower when doing it. So if you can't really like do it in front of them, you have to have at least a few seconds of this distance to use it and gain some distance. Slate skin, I personally think is not super good, mainly because it does make you like invincible kind of with overheal, and it is mainly used to like gain stamina. But like right around when it ends, the killer could just do like a gashing wound, a walk speed override, a mass infection, or John Doe's just a regular swing or digital footprint. The next one is Ghostburger. It no longer makes you undetectable for like LMS, which makes him not as good as he was before for LMS, because like he still gets highlighted even if he eats a ghost burger and stuff. So that arguably makes him a little bit worse. Also when eating it, he's much slower. That makes it easier to hit like a a mass infection, a walk speed override, and a gashing wound because he's 40% slower. That's why I put noob in the mid tier. The next one is 007 and 7. I think he's pretty good. Mainly, he gets a lot of status effects when using his clone. He makes like a clone of himself that lives for 10 seconds. It gives him invisibility and undetectable for 4 seconds. That is much less than Noob's Ghostburger, but it's instant. It's like genuinely instant. You could use his clone to like, let's say you're really low, like one shot, you could just throw it at a killer's swing, and then they'll be put into the kill animation, and that's like 2 seconds of animation, I think, maybe. That can give you some room to get out of it, run away, gives you some time to run away. His cool GUI is probably something you would use when you're far, has a lot of distance in a chase, or in Last Man Standing. Because 1 second you're right in front of their face, and the other second you're across the map. Inject, this here is probably one of his, if he didn't have this move, he would be terrible, because he kind of needs pathfinding and cursor to really be viable, because aimless wandering is not super good, because like it rams its head into walls like a moron, while pathfind, it looks more natural, and cursor, when you have like a good view, you can like move it around and make the juking seem more realistic. That's why I put 007 in pretty good. Alright, Shidletsky. I bet y'all are gonna be probably a little bit mad at me, but Shidletsky, he got out of the meta a lot. Like after his fried chicken got nerfed, he's just not very good anymore, in my opinion. He slashes forward, doing 30 damage and stunning the killer for 3 seconds. That's lower than a dagger. That's lower than a 2 times backstab dagger. And plus, its range is not that large. It's very small. And only being able to stun for 3 seconds, while for a 2 times stab, you could get 4 seconds of distance. I mean, the good thing that 2 times doesn't get is resistance 2, which makes him so he can't take as much damage when swinging. But it's kind of easy to juke. Kind of easy to like bait it out by just moving backwards, because you're slower by 75%. Fried chicken, it only heals 40 damage, 40 HP, and he has 2 of them. That's only 80 HP, and when you get hit by like anything, the regeneration just stops. You could get like only 5 HP. So that's what makes Shedletsky not as good as some of the other Sentinels. The next one is Guest. Guest is my main. I don't think I'm being super biased, but I'm pretty sure he got recently buffed, making it easier to parry because the killer's slower for like a second. And also, he has hit priority, which is kind of good for like, you can get a block from a sentry by just standing on it, and when they swing at it, you just block it, and then you get like a free parry or a regular punch. Also, you can block a mass infection up close, and you can basically negate any damage, even if it's a range one. Still probably shouldn't do it. The only one it may be good for is like a mass infection from afar, so you can like take less damage from it and only take the poison damage. Charge. Charge is very good, mainly because you can push, like knock the killer back with when they're on like a ledge, or just push them off the cliff or something like that. And also you become invincible. Like you can basically negate a hit. Let's say you're on like one shot, you just dash into them when they hit you. You just don't take any damage. His punch basically lets him wind up and punches forward, stunning any killer when in his hitbox. If the ability is like used within 1 second, it becomes a parry, and it stuns for 3.5. That's longer than Shedletsky's stun. And also, he also gets resistance too, it says here. Chance, he's good. Chance has a few problems with his kit. Is if you're extremely unlucky and you get like 30 stacks of weakness, you're basically one shot. But when you do hit like all 3 of heads, you get like a gun that can stun to 1 to 4 seconds. And also, it is way easier to hit than like a Shedletsky stun, a guess punch, or a 2-time stagger, because it's a gun. You can't really dodge a gun. Reroll can be a double-edged sword here, because you can either get like 60 health or a total of 130. And if let's say you have weakness like 4 with 60ish health, I'm pretty sure you're like a 2-tap, and then you just get stabbed in the eye and then die. But with 130 health, with like weakness 4, you can survive much longer. Now, Hatfix is probably one of his main really important abilities, because it gets rid of all his weakness. So, and it also repairs his gun if it happens to explode. Next person, the next survivor, 2-time. He rose up from absolute dog crap to better than Guest. Way better. His dagger, he gets resistance 3, and he lunges a little bit, and it stuns for 4 seconds when backstabbing, and heals him for 20. But if you do front stab, it first of all heals 2-time for 10, and applies slowness 2 and helpless 1 to the killer for 2 seconds. Crouch is the longest time you're invisible or undetectable. So you could use this to like not get highlighted by his ability, like the killer's abilities being like Raging Pace, Unstable Eye, 404 Error, and also you won't be seen by Cool Kids minions. Ritual, this here is really important too, because you have to lay down the ritual to actually get to respawn. And like, you used to be like respawning directly in front of the killer's face, but you can choose where you want to pit it now, which is so much better. And once you get like, you don't need to fill the oblation bar when you're like last man standing, and you get 110 health. That's a lot. That's really good. That's close to Guest. So Builderman, I personally think Builderman is fairly map dependent, so I'm gonna put him higher than 007 if the tier list would work. Mainly because Builderman basically has this sentry that gives slowness 2 for 1 second. On that, like, the Brandon Works map, and you put it on, like, the, castle, and if they just loop around a killer, the killer basically just cannot catch up to him, because you constantly get slowness 2. His dispenser is that it can heal more than one person. Unlike like an Elliot's heal or something like that. It can heal more than one person. Like it can heal like the entire team or half the team with one dispenser. Dusakar, he's mid. Higher than Noob though, in my opinion. Actually no. No, he's mid. Dusakar used to be very good, but now he sucks. Because his spawn protection gives resistance 4. That's good and all. And it has like an infinite range. But on frickin' maps like Point at Voss, you just cannot shield someone more than 3 seconds basically. Because there are so many random walls and it's very, very, very hard to keep the shield on them without it breaking, because they're going to be probably going around walls and stuff. And also, you become slower when using it, so they could just completely just stop going after that one guy for a second, hit you in the face with like a walk speed override or just a regular punch, and you already have like a lot of your health gone, because he's squishy. He's very squishy. He has only 90 health. Plasma beam, it can give slowness 2 to the killer for 3 seconds, or speed 1 for 4 seconds to a survivor getting hit by it. But it does have a fairly long windup, and also when you you're slow when shooting it out, and also he's doing it with his right hand, and that makes his hitbox a little weirder on it. So that's why I think he's mid. Elliot, I don't tell me this is wrong, because Elliot, he's the best, probably one of the best character supports. Elliot's pizza can heal so much. It heals a regular 35 HP regularly without any generators done. But it can also, with every like generator done, it increases how much it heals. Let me find it. Where is it? The healing effect of pizza. Rush Hour. He's the only support that can actually kind of defend himself during last man standing, because Rush Hour, it gives you speed 3 for 3 seconds. Alright, Taff, I'm sorry, but you're terrible. Toph is very underwhelming. His tripwire is alright because it does highlight the killer and gives slowness 2 for 4 seconds, but that's really it. Subspace Trip Mine is alright too. It's really not that good either. It's very underwhelming. It gives Helpless, and the subspace effect really isn't that bad, because you can just hold down your mouse button and you don't turn it too much. But if Taff is around the Trip Mine, he also gets subspace as well. So that makes him pretty bad. Alright, now on to the killers. Starting with Jason. Jason is good. Mainly because Jason has Behead, which has a giant hitbox, and it also gives Helpless 1 for 14 seconds. And also when you kill a survivor with Behead, you basically get out of that kill animation. Gashi Wound is probably the most punishing move probably in the game, because if a guest misses its block, 50 damage, or 70 when he's in rage. Shidletsuki missing his sword, Gashing Wound, 50 damage. A chance missing his gun, gashing wound, 50 damage. You know it. Raging pace is good because it gives basically his stamina can go up, unlike other things like other other abilities. He's able to kind of keep the chase because he still becomes faster. He's faster when he's walking, becomes faster when he's walking, and that makes it so like he can pressurize the survivors much more. Cool Kid is higher than Jason, but I don't think he's S tier or amazing tier in this case. Does 26 damage. No passive at all though. Corrupt Nature, not very underwhelming. It only does 15 damage and slows it for 4 seconds. Walk Speed Override is good. It does 40 it deals a total of 40 damage. And Pizza Delivery, it gives 3 slowness 3 and burning 1 for 3 seconds. You do not know how much I random place a pizza delivery and it just hits random people. He probably has the most combo potential because you just first of all hit a walk speed override, corrupt nature, then a punch. That can kill all the supports. John Doe, I think he's pretty decent. John Doe has unstoppable, which kind of carries him because he can't get stunned more than 2.1 seconds. Also, his spikes do can do a decent amount of damage, but it makes a wall, so you kind of can force a survivor into a place. His digital footprint is very good for like blocking paths, like the entrance to that one cliff on glass houses. He could just block that area with a digital footprint. And unless they want to get slowness 2 and corrupted for 10 seconds and give John Doe speed, then they just don't want to do it like at all. 404 error is terrible. It's the worst highlighting ability because he becomes kind of slower for a few seconds, I'm pretty sure. And it only no status effects, and it only highlights for 4 seconds. That's terrible. 1x, he's going on the best for killers. 1x's slash does a lot of damage, and it puts glitch and poison, adding more than one status effect with 1 slash. His mass infection can do 35 damage from afar, or do a lot of damage up close. What is it? Doesn't say. And it also inflicts him with poison 1 and glitched 1 and poison 1 for 5 seconds when afar, or when up close, glitch 3 and poison 5. Entanglement carries his kit. He throws out his swords and stuff, I believe. And when you hit a survivor, they freeze in place, having to do a pop-up minigame, and also it gives them speed too. Unstable Eye base is also one of his best moves because he is the slowest killer in the game. It gives speed 1 and highlights. The one negative is that it gives blindness 3. Rejuvenate the Rotten can summon a bunch of minions, and when you hit one of the minions, they give speed 1 for 10 seconds. That's basically a noob's Bloxy Cola. So this is basically my rating for all the survivors and killers. So if you enjoy, please like and subscribe. If you disagree with any of my rankings here, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching.